Hi friends, this is Sarah from Crafting and Relaxing. Welcome whether you're brand new or you've been with me since the beginning. I'm glad you're here. Today I'm showing you a process video on a card that I made to send to another channel. It's a surprise thing for somebody. The rule was a girly birthday card with pink. So that's a challenge for me, obviously, and I don't even have a lot of pink or pink ink. The first way that I prepared was on the right, you see a stencil sitting on Distress Oxide ink. I put some Distress Oxide on that paper, and then I put water on the stencil and let it sit for 5 minutes. And here I'm just adding some more water to get some more texture. I used the Abandoned Coral ink to stamp Happy Birthday and the flowers around it. And then I was thinking I would punch it out with a circle, but I wanted to stamp it first so I could see how it would look and punch the exact section. I also thought if I'm going to do a really girly birthday card, I need a matching envelope, of course. The paper pad has a larger pattern and then smaller patterns that correspond. The larger patterns are harder for me to use up in card making, so I thought it would be great for the envelope and also give a little more white space on the actual envelope. But I think with a big Sharpie, it's fine. And I'm not sure if these are actually going to be mailed. They might just be bundled up and given to the person. So this was just a collection that I had in my stuff that's been sitting around for a while. The paper is from Pink Paislee and it's called Fancy Free. It has a lot of nice florals and fun patterns, and it also has some sentiments that are on circles, and I punched those out before and used them for cards. If you haven't seen me make envelopes before, I have an envelope playlist on my channel, and I have lots of videos on it and how to use this scoreboard. So I didn't go into any details or show you the measurements. It's pretty simple. 8-inch square, fold it up, trim out that square in the back if you want, or don't, and adapt it if you're doing like big puffy cards, leave some more room, however you want to do it. I love to make envelopes. It's totally relaxing. There's no stress. You can't mess it up. I mean, what's the worst that could happen, right? You get another piece of paper out. You haven't really committed to anything. And look how cute that is. That paper is a little bit thick, but it's just fine. You can use any paper. Here I have a 2-inch punch and I have a 2.5, and I'm experimenting with the different punches and how they're going to layer up. I would like a 2.25-inch punch really, so I had a smaller border, but I don't have one, so we're rolling with it. And I used, once I started this project, I realized I don't actually own the pistachio color of Distress Oxide inks. I thought I did, and I looked and looked and looked and I couldn't find it. So I had to use the one that's a little more blue, the peacock. And I should have probably hit it with some yellow too, but I didn't think about it until the very end. But I spent a while looking for pistachio. When I punch those out, they're on, I think it's 80-pound Nina, not the real nice 110. So then I punch out circles of random packaging that I have sitting around in my craft room so that I can layer things up and they're nice and sturdy and I don't have to worry about them warping or being crooked, anything like that. Here I'm getting out different pink ribbons and trying them. The ribbons didn't really work for me. I thought they would. I had a plan and then I changed my mind. What I didn't think about was the strip of paper that I cut and the circle. Everything was much bigger than I envisioned it once I started to layer it on the card. And that's okay. It's not, I like how it turned out. It's just that it wasn't exactly how I saw it in my brain when I was laying it out. Here I'm making one of those, I call them bows. I don't know if they constitute a bow, but super easy. You take embroidery floss, wrap it around your fingers, and then tie a knot. If you haven't seen me do that before, I have that in a scrapbook page layout, and I'll try and remember to put the description to that down below. You guys know that's not really my strength, but you can always comment and ask me. If I forget or I don't explain something, you can always tell me. I love these bows because I'm not good at tying bows, And I have tons of embroidery floss, and these turn out really fun with embroidery floss. That bow that I just made was using 3 fingers. So you're wrapping it around 3 fingers. It's a little big, isn't it? And it's a little boring because it's the same size. There I'm putting gems on the centers of the flowers, and those gems are a little bit iridescent and have like a pink and teal in them. That probably doesn't show on camera, but that's why I did it. Then I got out a product that I've never used before, so I don't really know how it's supposed to be. I have a feeling it's a little bit dry, and I think my friend was probably supposed to wash the applicator before she put it away in the lid. So that applicator is like crusted over like plastic, and it's not accepting any product. So I'm trying, and then in the end, I just use my finger, and I turn into like cosmic shimmer myself. I like the product. I definitely need to get that applicator all cleaned up. And that one was called Glitter Kiss. So it doesn't have any color. See, I'm shimmery too. It just shimmers nicely. And I thought that was really nice for all the pastels in this collection. Here I'm cutting essentially the base of my card front. So I cut it 4 inches by 5 1/4. Then I'm inking the edges. I'm trying to ink everything so it ties it all together, and just so it's a little more cute. Sometimes I get in a hurry and I forget to ink things, but I think that it adds something to a card if you do. It's like layering your paper. It adds more. Okay, here's the moment of truth, because I did this paper the night before. So I know that if I cut this paper wrong and then I want to redo it, then I have to wait for the paper to dry again. So I was going back and forth and trying to figure out how am I going to cut that paper. Then I decided I wanted to round the edges of that paper after I'd inked it. That's no problem. Just get out your corner rounder, round off the corners, and then ink the corners. Nobody will ever know, except for you guys, that I thought of it later. So that's just a trick. And there's no rule about when I round my corners. I thought I'm trying to make a very girly card, and I have all these circles, and it just looked a little bit too formal. So here I go. I'm just hitting the ink again. No problem at all. And again, I've talked about ink before on other videos. You don't have to have these daubers. They actually are not my favorite product because you get your fingers all yucky when you switch the things. I think my favorite ones might be those little tiny fingerprint or fingertip things that cost $1, but I don't do any fancy blending, and I'm too cheap to buy those beautiful brushes that I had the video on. I probably would do fancy blending more if I had those. My favorite technique really is Distress Oxides and then a stencil on it, like I've done on the far right there. And I should have blended that a little more, but I didn't really know what part I was going to use. Here again, it's actually the package to my archival inks. And I punched a circle out of it, and I'm gluing it down. Now here's a tip for you. If you can, always use a white product or a craft product, whatever matches what you're gluing to, so when the edges show you don't have a problem. That had writing on both sides. When the card is done, you can see a tiny bit of black on the edge of that bottom circle, which sort of makes me crazy, but the paper has black, so I think it's fine. Also, I completely forgot to ink the edge of that circle. You'll see when it all goes together, so I was bummed about that, but again, nobody's going to look at it and be like, oh, she inked 2 out of 3. Here I'm just weighing it down, and then I realized that you don't want to look at that, so I need to move it. But that's what I do. In this card, I started the parts that had to dry and assembly first. You've seen me do lots where I make the base and put it all together. I kept that in mind. I also chose some embellishments. I didn't use Nuvo drops because at the end I didn't want to wait for those to dry either, because I'd already waited for my glue to dry and my stencil and Distress Oxides to dry. I didn't want it to be a 3-day card. And you can just use your heat gun, but I have so many things going on, I just set stuff aside to dry. Okay, I don't know if you like this. I really liked it. I mean, my colors could have been more perfect, but I really like combining mixed media techniques or Distress Oxides into traditional scrapbooking paper cards. You don't see that a lot. I have a lot of fun doing it. I think you can make amazing backgrounds and mix them in. So that's what I was trying to do here, because when you're making a card and you know the person's going to get a whole bunch from paper crafters, I wanted it to be different, right? If I use the latest set that just came out last month from a super trendy vendor, then my card might be like other people's. That is my purple Hermafix Hermadotto dispenser that you're going to see in a couple of videos, because my friend had more and I soaked my dispenser overnight and got like glue and then hit it with a toothbrush, cleaned it up. It's working perfectly. So you're going to see that. I have a Band-Aid on my finger in this video, and it makes it really hard to line papers up and get them situated. Okay, again, that is setting aside to dry, because the Distress Oxide papers, sometimes they're more prone to bowing and that kind of thing, even though I've ironed it. Which, by the way, I don't iron anything except craft projects. I've been experimenting with my sound on different recordings too, so if you have one, if you listen to one and it's horrible, don't hesitate to tell me. Now you can see how the card's coming together, and I'm coming back with the Hermadotto dispenser, and then I'll put a little bit of glue on it probably too. I used a ton of glue on this card, way more adhesive than I normally use, because I'm pretty sure it's going to, first, it has a lot of layers, the mixed media component, and I'm mailing it to someone and then they're giving it to the recipient. So I don't know exactly what its transportation situation is going to be. What do you think? Do you like how it came out? Maybe I should have hit the peacock with a little bit of yellow so that it was actually green, but I think the idea is still good and it works. I also think I would have liked to go with a little bit narrower strip of the Distress Oxide paper, because I really wanted more of that floral to show. I just didn't think about the scale and the border. I skipped a bunch of the foam dot part because you know how to put foam dots on, right? And I still haven't bought bigger ones. I'm supposed to be cleaning my room, so I'm trying to stay out of stores. I haven't even been to Tuesday Morning this year, I don't think. Okay, there we go. So it's popped up, and then I kind of love it. I thought it was really fun, even for a super girly card. Then I'm getting ready to put the bow on, and I always use glue dots, of course, because that makes a bow stick really nice. So I'm going to grab the tiny glue dots for the back. You don't need a big one, and the tiny ones don't show. And then seconds before I stick that sucker on, I go, nope, and I stick it on a jar. Okay, so I have that one for my next card. That's another tip. When you have all this stuff out, if you're messy like me, make 2 cards. So I made another one that was a birthday card. Here I realized I wanted some white in that bow, and I have no idea what happened to my camera or filming. I don't know, but anyway, I wasn't filming. So here I'm assembling the card, just glued it onto the base, and then there's the bow I made. That bow is a 2-finger bow. So you take the embroidery floss, you wrap it around your fingers, and then you just tie it. It's not really a bow. Again, you can watch the video. I thought 2-finger was a little better for the size of the card and with everything that it had going on. And I wanted the white in there. There was just too much coral. Looking at it, I wish I maybe would have put in a 3rd color, but I think overall, I like the bow and the card. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. Bye-bye.